Okay, sir. I've sent out the link, the new link. So I'm going to wait for other people to join. But while that is going on, I have with me this evening Mr. Cadet Chidi Iwanyao. Have I got that correct? Iwanyao, yeah. And we had a very interesting interactive session yesterday. I think Ime Bishop is just coming in right now. We had a very interesting interactive session yesterday, sir, because many things went on during the Civil War, sir. And we had to address those issues because a lot of people from my area, the Ibibios, had complained to me and to so many other people for years that the Igbos during the Biafran War had murdered and raped a lot of Ibibios, and that they were demanding an apology. I had also explained to them, sir, that in 2014, that Gowon had actually apologized to us regarding the atrocities that went on during the Biafran War. And it was so interesting, sir, that I had quite a number of Igbos yesterday actually apologizing to us about what went on during the Civil War. But, and obviously that went into other things, which my friend will discuss with us today. But it was so interesting because I believe that this is the beginning of what I would regard as a reconciliation. Because I discovered that unlike other countries that have had major conflicts, there's never been a time, sir, that we have come together as a nation to forgive one another and to assuage the feelings of the victims of the Civil War, like what happened in Rwanda or what happened in South Africa. We've never had that. So we were actually looking at coming up with a forum or a panel where for the first time, the different tribes that participated in the Nigerian Civil War can actually come together and work together and try to repair and try to bind the wounds of that war, because I have discovered that that wound has become ulcerated, and that we cannot even talk about restructuring if we don't address the issues of that Civil War. And I know there was this no victor, no vanquished, but I also feel that there should have been a coming together. And that's something I also wanted to ask you, whether this is something, whether there's a possibility that we can have this in Nigeria.
Well, my answer to that will be neither here nor there, because that will be policy. And I can't make policy statements. You know, I can't make what will be policy statements. I can only speak about what my principal has entertained and what he has spoken about. I can amplify that. I can further elucidate on what he has said. But this is not an issue that has even been broached before the president in my presence. So I can't then be talking of what will be like policy. It will not be proper.
Chidi, do you want to ask Mr. Femi a question? Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
And I can hear him too.
Yes.
Okay, I can't see Mr.
Mr. Femi, we can't see your face, sir.
Well, my video is supposed to be on.
It is on. It's the angle.
I think it was covering. I think you can only see from your that we are.
Okay. A little bit more. We can't see your. No. Now it's too much.
We can only.
Now
There
down
we are.
more.
Yes.
Down a little more. A little
Yeah,
more.
that's it.
A little
That's it,
more.
sir.
Yeah, that's
That's
better.
it, sir. That's
Okay.
it, sir. Yes, that's it,
Yeah.
sir.
Thank you so much, Atta, for having me on this show once more, and I'd like to welcome Mr. Adesina. The last time we had a brush, I would say, on the meeting.
You are the one wearing fatigue that day.
Yeah, I had to dress differently so that I don't help. It's like here when you want to talk, some people set you up. They say, "Oh, it's the angry black man." So every other thing you say, people say, "Oh yeah, that's how they talk." So I'm trying to avoid that. That's why I'm trying to dress in a way that would allow us to communicate. Now,
Yeah.
that last time, I told Mr. Adesina that he's just doing a job. He didn't understand it very well, but I'm going to start from there to remind Mr. Adesina that he. Hello?
Yes, go on.
Okay, yeah. To remind Mr. Adesina that he is our servant. Him and his principal are working for me, the citizen. We put them in that job and they are 100% responsible to me. I was talking with Ata Ikideh about what obtains here, and Ata was quick to say, yes, Chidi, you know, but we have to apply the Nigerian factor, which is, yes, we have a democracy in Nigeria, but then we have people who have a culture, who have a tradition, and so we respect our leaders, we respect those in authority, but that must never, never be mistaken or make those in authority forget the fact that when we elected them, when they were elected into power, they are there as our servants. Servants, that's what they are. We tell them what to do. They ask us how we feel about what they have done. They come back to see, just like customer service. You do something, you come back and say, did you like it? That's what a servant does. And we say, I don't like that one you did. Go and make the water hot again, a little bit warmer. That's what's supposed to be. But it doesn't exist in our Nigerian setup, unfortunately. Now, let me go further to say that Mr. Adesina started on a very not so good note for me by saying that the issue of reconciliation has not been brought to the president, so he really can't speak about it. We're talking about a president who was a principal actor in that war. So maybe I should explain that what we are saying is not just a making an official. He himself, or maybe let me give Mr. Adesina benefit of the doubt. He said he can elucidate or project or emphasize on what his principal has said concerning that issue. So maybe let me withhold my thoughts and hear from him, because maybe there was something that was done and I didn't know. So let me give him the benefit of the doubt to hear what his principal, the president of Nigeria, an active participant in the Nigeria-Biafra civil war, who led so many of those operations, thinks or has said or has done concerning visiting how people feel about that war or initiating a healing process. Let me stop at this point.
Thank you. Barrister, can I respond?
Yes, please, sir. Yes, please, sir.
Okay. Let me look at the first issue when he said, I and my principal are responsible to him as a Nigerian citizen. I'll disagree with that. The president is responsible to him because the president was elected. I was appointed by the president. So I am responsible to the president and to the president alone. I am responsible to the president. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, Ime, we can hear you. If you can mute your mic, Ime, please.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, sir, go on.
Okay, I am responsible to the president and the president alone. I'm not responsible to the public. I'm not responsible to the citizenry because they didn't employ me. But I am responsible to the president because the president was elected. So we can't stretch it too far and say I'm responsible to the citizens. That would not be quite correct. My principal is the president, and he is the one I report to and I'm responsible to. I don't owe the public, for instance, any report. Well, I owe the president every report. I was not, if I was an elected person, it's a different thing. That's just the clarification I like to make on that. Then, talking about a healing process, there was a government in place when the Civil War was fought, and that same government came up with what it called the 3 R's. Reconciliation, rebuilding, and all that. It had 3 R's, which was supposed to be the healing process for that war. So if a government had instituted the 3 R's and they had done what they should do, how come another government 50 years later wouldn't be the one to do that again? No, I think the government of the day then had embarked on reconciliation, and that process was consummated there. If the healing is not complete, there is another issue, but it's not as if the government of the day didn't embark on it.
Okay.
Okay. Can
Yeah.
I respond?
Sure.
Thank you very much. Mr. Adesina, we don't get to see the president of Nigeria. You are the president of Nigeria that we see. If we can't hold you accountable, if you are not responsible to us, then we don't have any reason to listen to you when you're speaking. Then you should stop appearing on behalf of the president. When customer service calls me from my electricity company, when I talk to them, sometimes I apologize and I say, I'm very sorry for sounding personal, but I'm not being personal. So when they talk to me like they are the company. They are the I don't know how to put this. You are and I'll have to insist on this. You are responsible and you're entitled to your own opinion. But as far as I'm concerned, and this makes a very huge, there's a lot of implication in what we're discussing now. Because when you come on Channels TV, as you often do, and you're talking with that presenter, we believe, or we like to believe, that you are speaking as someone who is one of the closest to Mr. President, so that everything you say, you are deliberate about it, that actually sometimes it is not your opinion, that you have your opinion as Femi Adesina, but you also are speaking on behalf of the president of Nigeria. So when you now come and say that you are only responsible to Mr. President and not responsible to me, who is wasting my time listening to you, I find it difficult to kind of comprehend. And I could be wrong here. I could be wrong. I'm just following. Okay. And then the second one,
Mr.
I will say this and I will stop, if you please permit me. When you talk about the 3 R's, that begins to, I hope we're going to achieve our aim of having this meeting, because I thought what Ikideh was trying to do is say, can we find a way to forge ahead? If you think that what was already done was enough, then so be it. But if you think that what was done, you don't have to say if it was not enough. We are wondering, what do you think? What does your principal think? Looking at the situation right now. And if one would have thought that if you thought that what was done was not enough, that you will be preemptuous, you'll be proactive to come up with, because we're trying to look at situations. You came out the last time here and you said the situation is bad. I'm quoting you. You said the situation
and it's better today.
It's not even better today. It's still very bad.
It is.
Trust me.
It is. You're in the diaspora. You don't know. Those of us who are here know that things are looking up.
You will be surprised, Mr. Adesina. Sometimes we in the diaspora are like the people watching the field. We tell you what is going on sometimes. You'll be so shocked. Trust me. Anyway, but let's not go there. Let's not go there, sir. Like I said, you're entitled to your opinion. I want it. I want it good. In fact, who am I to say it's not good for you? If it's good for you, praise God. It's not good for a lot of Nigerians, and that is where you see where there's a disconnect.
You can't sit in judgment from abroad. You can't.
You see where
okay.
I don't want us to banter on that level, but let's leave it there.
Right.
I am as someone who is online, as someone who is connected, I have access. Trust me, Mr. Adesina, I have access to the feelings, the status, how Nigerians are feeling right. So for you to say life is better now for Nigeria, it will almost be an insult to them. But let me rest my case for now.
Okay, Chidi, let me just come in there. Chidi, you are
no, not me. You need to mute Ime.
Yeah, I think it's Ime.
Yeah, you need to mute him. You are in charge.
Ime, please, can you mute? I'm trying to see how I can do that from here. Ime, can you please mute your phone, please? Please. So Chidi, let me just come in there a little bit, because sometimes we need to break, and I'm happy we're supposed to have like 20 people today, but because we've had this issue with the link. But I think for me, this is the most important thing. The issue around the Southeast is now the elephant in the room. So I'm happy we can talk around this, and hopefully we can arrive at something. Let me just explain something about Femi's work. All right. So you are a businessman, okay? And I'm sure you have a secretary that works for you, someone that you appointed, okay? All right. Now, let us say that you had a company and the shareholders were the ones that actually elected you to be the director of the company, all right? Then you appoint a secretary, okay? Now, the duty of that secretary is to you, the Oga. You, the Oga, all right? If that secretary was probably going down the hallway and a shareholder called and said, please, can we have an idea of what is going on here? What is the company's saying about the new shareholding, the debentures and all that? She has no duty to say, because she can get herself into trouble. She can only say, I'm going to revert to my boss. And what my boss says is what I'm going to tell you. So hold on, sir. Hold on, sir, Chidi. What I'm trying to say here is that even when Mr. Adesina comes out to speak like this, he's speaking as a spokesperson on behalf of the president. And if there is some information that he does not have, okay, it's at his discretion to answer those questions or to be careful and not to give that information. And I tell you something, Chidi, I think for me, it's actually a wonderful opportunity to have the special advisor to the president coming once in a while to speak with us. Because I know how many times I pleaded with Reuben Abati to do this and he never did, okay? So, and you need to understand how very challenging it is for with our friend here, because any word he says that is out of place is going to go viral tomorrow. So he has to be very, very careful. And so in a sense, he has the duty towards you and I, but he has to walk a very fine line, a very fine line indeed. So Chidi, I don't want you to feel offended, okay? And at the same time, I don't want you to push it, all right? I want us to have a worthwhile discussion, okay?
Let me help you. Let me help you out, because you are the one that organized this. We would
Sure.
have a worthwhile discussion, and I'm not offended. If I was, why would I be offended? We are just,
Okay.
it's almost like rhetoric. You have not said anything different from what I said before. Additional, because remember, let me use your analogy. When you spoke to the secretary was responsible to you. That's why the secretary attended to you.
No, Speck is not responsible to me. No. She could just walk past.
Okay, let me explain now. Let me explain what I mean so that you understand. Of course, Mr. Adesina does not have, remember I said he has his opinion as Mr. Adesina. But when he attends to me, when he comes and is talking to me, I need this to be understood. I do not, no, if I was going to treat him as Mr. Adesina, maybe two of us wouldn't be at this thing talking, because I don't have a personal relationship with him. He is here because the reason why I'm talking to him, why you brought him, is because he's working for the president and by extension for us. I want you to understand that. And everything you said, that we take that into consideration. I won't put Mr. Adesina in a spot where he has to start answering for things that he's not responsible for.
Yes, that's it.
No, but that is
Good,
like,
good.
no,
Yeah.
of course.
I think that settles it.
No, by
Yes,
default.
yes.
But have I, anyway, if I have done that, then that's not my intention.
Okay.
I'm trying to say that when I see Mr. Adesina, I see the president of Nigeria. That's the only way it's going to work. So when I ask him, the one that he's not able to answer, of course, he will have to go and make
Of course,
references.
yes.
But I assume that when he is coming, he came here with almost half of the president's brain. Otherwise, why is he representing the president?
Okay.
No, that should be a plus. That should be a plus for him. But if he says,
okay,
no, most of the things you're going to ask me, I have to go and ask my Oga, then he'll be failing in his duty. So when he comes here saying, shoot, ask me anything. I am in control. I know about this government. That is the confidence I'm supposed to have in him, unless he wants me to think otherwise.
If he has the information, the fact that Mr. Adesina is even here with us means that he's willing to engage, he's willing to listen, he's willing for us to have access to maybe some information that others don't have, and he's willing to use his power and his position to leverage so that he can be that bridge between us and Nigerians.
The one I didn't end up telling you in that statement, you keep saying Mr. Adesina agreeing to come here. It is a plus for him. That's what I want you to understand. I, as a member of the Black Consultative Committee of Toronto Police here in Canada, I, with my colleagues, we summoned the mayor of Toronto. And the mayor of Toronto sits in a Zoom meeting like this with us. And I told you, and we query him. So that's what it's supposed to be. So let's not make it a big deal.
All right, okay, let us go.
So it is a privilege for Adesina that we are able to come and talk to him. Let's not make it. And I'm sure Mr. Adesina, in all humility, will agree to that. Don't flip it around.
Okay, all right. Let us go to the meat of the discussion.
Sorry, Mr. Moderator, can I add something to the issue of reconciliation?
Yes, sir.
I told you, yes, we had a government in place and it's instituted the 3 R's, and it came out to say no victor, no vanquished.
Vanquished, yes, sir.
Almost 50 years later, President Buhari comes and Biafran police that have been denied their entitlement.
Their pension, yes.
Their pensions, he pays.
Yes.
Is that not a continuation of the healing process?
Yes. Yes.
And then you had the June 12 election that had been annulled for over 20 years, about 23 years. Yes. And he comes and recognizes the winner of the election. Is that not part of the healing process?
Definitely.
So, yeah,
Definitely.
so the president, he does things that he can do.
Definitely.
But it will not eliminate the fact that the government of the day, when the Civil War ended, had embarked on reconciliation.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, I want to ask you a personal question. So this is not like an official question, a personal question. Now, sir, let me speak as an Ibibio, okay? Now, during the Biafran War, what happened, sir, was that we, the Ibibios, were supporting the Nigerian government, but our political class were with the rebels. So what happened, sir, was that we had a situation where the rebel forces came into Ibibio land, referred to us as saboteurs, and there were incidents of assassinations, murders, and rapes. And over 70 years, this has not been addressed, and there are families that have been in pain and have been hurt by what Igbo soldiers did to them. Now, but also, sir, the Nigerian soldiers also killed a lot of us. I mean, there were so many prominent Ibibios at that time that were killed by Adekunle. They actually sought these men out, brought them out, and shot them. One of them is a man called Mr. Afia. He was a minister in the East. Now, in 2014, sir, Godswill Akpabio, then governor, organized an event called Remembering Our Fallen Heroes. These were men that had been murdered by the Nigerian forces. And Gowon actually wrote an official letter apologizing for the deaths of those men. Not only that, sir, Gowon came to London and actually apologized to this lady whose father had been murdered with other Ibibio men. Personally apologized to her, said, I'm sorry for what happened to you. I heard your father had been arrested. By the time I sent a note to Adekunle not to kill those men, unfortunately, the dastardly act had been done. Now, sir, for some reason, this wound, the wounds of the Civil War, we can't deny that the wounds of the Civil War are still present in people. Yesterday, the Igbos, on a forum that Chidi actually anchored, Igbos apologized to us, the Ibibios. In fact, I was the only Ibibio on that forum. They apologized to me for what their soldiers did to us. And it's a process that we're going through right now and hoping that it's going to get much wider. And soldiers, Igbo soldiers that are still alive, who participated in those murders and killings, would also have the boldness and the courage to apologize to my people. But what I'm looking at, sir, is this. Since the Southeast, the issue around the Southeast and the whole issue about Biafra has now become almost like an ulcerating political issue in Nigeria. It's like there is everything about the restructuring, about the national conference we're having. It's all around this Biafra. It's all around this issue about what happened during the war. And I was thinking, is it possible, just as what happened in Rwanda and what happened in South Africa, is it possible for us, I'm asking you as a person, this is a personal question, is it possible for us to have a Nigerian Civil War Peace and Reconciliation panel or commission like the Puta panel that we had, where victims, victors, and the vanquished know it's not to pay anyone compensation, but it's almost like it's like an arbitration where the sides can say, I'm sorry for what I did to you. I apologize for what I did to you. Forgive me. I'm asking you as a person, is it possible to have that sort of thing in Nigeria? Because Nigeria cannot be restructured in a sustainable manner if we are not in a position where we can forgive each other. So I'm asking you, do you see that as being a possibility?
Well, you never say never. You never say never. When the Okuta panel came, who could have thought it would come? South Africa, after several decades of apartheid, had its own truth commission.
Yes.
I remember that when was it during Amechi as governor in Rivers State, they had a truth commission.
Was it over the Biafran War, sir?
No, it was not over the Biafra War. Certain issues.
Okay, okay.
Yes, they had a truth commission where they tried to reconcile. So you never say never. But then such will be policy. And it would not be in my place to speak on policy that has not been enunciated.
Okay.
If it has been enunciated, yes, I'll speak on it. But it has not even, at least not to my hearing.
Okay, so, but
and then again, if General Gowon in 2014, like you said, also apologized.
Yes, sir.
I think that is part of the process.
Sure, sir. But sir, if a group of Igbos, Ibibios, Ijos, and even some Northerners came together and said, we want to have something like this, what avenue would we have to take to push this agenda forward? How would we go about it?
National Assembly. National Assembly.
Oh, National Assembly.
Yes, they are the representatives of the people. And I'm sure that if some people decide to push that agenda using their legislators, it's something that can be done.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And to buttress your position that wound still festers, you see that even in the current agitation in the Southeast, there were 3 different groups that came out from South who said, not this time. We will never allow them access to the sea. They said it.
Yes.
6 weeks ago. So it shows you that the wound still run deep.
Yes.
Yes.
Can I? And that is where this sort of panel, this sort of reconciliation, this sort of truth panel, as we might call it, where it will come in and assuage the pain of the years that have gone by. And this is something I've had a discussion with several people, and there is a groundswell that the time has come for us to sit together as a family and talk about these things honestly, and forgive one another, and admit to our faults, and so that we can move forward as a nation. So I will take your advice on board, sir, and I will contact my representative and see how this can be taken forward. Yeah.
Yes.
I have.
Mr. Chief, there are 2 other people here.
Okay.
But,
sorry.
Okay. All right. Itoro, just a minute, Itoro. Just a minute. Bishop, Ime is here. He has just left. Hopefully he will come back. Itoro, just a minute. Chidi, go on and ask your question.
Yeah, I wanted to comment on 2 issues. And let me also state here that they call me the man with so many hats, because when I speak, I try to gather a lot of the people that I identify with. Today, I'm speaking for the Igbo people, the Southeast people, the people who insist that Buhari must go, and all of them in one. Now, when you talk, I want to be clear. When you were on my program, and because we don't want to miss the point of this apology.
No.
When on my show someone apologized, I also told you that, listen, when it comes to apology, the way I was taught by my pastor, Pastor Inalogo Mako, that it's not so much important about you finding out what you did to the person or whether you actually did it to the person. That the
Mm.
most important thing at that point to me, what I should be seeking for, is that the other party is feeling aggrieved in any way humanly possible.
Yes.
I don't know, but my apology is saying, oh my God, I am sorry that maybe it's the way I dress is a problem to you. Maybe it's my wife, but for whatever reason you feel aggrieved, I am sorry that you feel that way. That was the basis upon which the guy apologized, and I apologized to you because I made you remember that the person apologizing to you is the one who lost millions, who has not even recovered from burying all his sons and daughters and children. But you want him to apologize to you, fine. He apologized to you. So I want, when the apology is made, let's take it and move on. But let's not, whip it so much. Then again, when Mr. Femi Adesina reiterates on the fact that a certain group said we will not give them access to the sea, then it begs for us to actually go and discuss that matter. Because why should it be the focus? Mr. President, although there's been a lot of denials, showed clearly. The Bible says, I'm a Christian. At least I try to be a good Christian and claim to know my Bible. Says that out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Those interviews, and at the point where he talked about people not allowing them access to the sea, that was, to my people, very vile. And it was very unfortunate and surprising that he should focus on that. And by the way, since that time till now, you would expect to see a mass adoption of that line of thought, but I don't see it. So anybody can come out, anybody can form a group and say what they want. But why is it so important that people say they will not give people access to the sea? If you want us to discuss about it, I want us to go back and actually break it down in detail. And I can tell you how my people feel about it and how that is one of the reasons why we are where we are today. And maybe I'll be able to tell you that the issue is not actually access to the sea, because that access to the sea, I'm talking about the oil. Nobody gives a damn about oil. Here in Canada, every car manufacturer manufactures electric cars, so that oil is no longer an issue. But let me stop it here.
Okay, yeah, Chidi, before I go to Itoro, I think what Mr.
Barrister,
Yeah.
please, let me just make a comment. You don't say the comment of a president is very vile, and yet you wear a vest with Buhari must go on it. Is that not vile?
It is. It is vile. I make no apologies. You see, that's the point. I am trying to be as vile as I can be. How else?
Okay.
And I'm glad you get the message. No, you got the message. Thank you for accepting that.
Not letting us make progress.
No.
Okay.
He was vile. I'm being vile. I'm being as vile as possible.
I think it's too. He has too much bile.
Okay, Mr. Chidi. Mr. Chidi.
He has too much bile.
Okay, Mr. Chidi. What Femi Adesina was trying to say there was that those people groups that said there's no access to the sea shows that there are still issues that need to be resolved.
Exactly.
Like I said, like I said, that my people, the Bibios, are upset because Biafra, they had been added into Biafra. And I'm sure maybe some Ijaws also feel that way. And so when he said no access to the sea, he wasn't saying the Biafra as a group is trapped. He was saying that this shows that there are still issues within that region that people need to sit down and talk about. That was what he was trying to say. So Chidi, please
was the person? No, you have
and
to.
It's not about access to oil, as Chidi said. That one of access to the sea is not about oil at all. It's not oil at all.
Chidi,
what they are trying to say, which is not my point in raising that issue, what they were trying to say is that the so-called Biafra, if it ever emerges, will be landlocked.
Good.
So Chidi, please.
So you see,
Chidi,
allow your
Chidi, please. Chidi,
why don't you allow your program is interesting. Don't
No,
shut it
Chidi.
down. Allow it to flow. I'm helping you.
Chidi,
You are.
Chidi.
We are happy that
I
Adesina
need
is saying
Chidi.
this. It is to your credit, Ata. Honestly, believe me, I present. It is to your credit that we are where we are. Trust me, we are all on your side. I honestly
Yes, but
appreciate.
I want a progressive meeting. This is not progressive.
Yes.
Nobody
It's not progressive. No, it's not
is.
progressive. Where
Mr.
it's
Femi
going back
Adesina
and
just
forth.
made a very good statement
Chidi,
that,
Chidi.
can I say this
Chidi.
and I'll shut up? Mr. Femi Adesina made something that is very interesting here, a statement. And if that's what he's saying, I think he's trying to separate issues. He said something that what he said, it is not in the context of what he said it acceptable. Because I thought I was going back to the origin of that statement, which was the president of Nigeria making, and I'm glad that Mr. Adesina is just saying that he made reference to it because the context in which it was said when it was said is totally probably different from the assertion that Femi Adesina is making now. So it's okay, I understand it now. He's trying to say that it was said because people are still, for the people who said it too, but if you want us to go back to the origin, that is also something I would like to discuss in the course of our meeting.
Okay, all right. Itoro Samuel, are you there? Itoro, you'll have to unmute your mic. Are you there?
Yeah, yes, I'm here. I'm listening.
Yes,
yeah,
please.
Okay. Good evening. I'm sorry I joined late.
Make your point constructive and progressive, please. Thank you.
Yeah. My point is this: because when Buhari came into power in 2015, what I expected, because of what happened during the Jonathan's time, during the election, and how emotions were high and people were vomiting a lot of hatred and things were going, it was so bad at the time. And I thought when Buhari comes on board, that what I think I made a post on Facebook and said, when Jonathan conceded, and that was a golden opportunity for people to come together, for Buhari to seize the moment and call for reconciliation above board, everywhere, everybody. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. And I saw a lot of us versus them happening all over again. And we have been on that up to now. Now, my question is will it be too much for, you made mention, Atta, of Gowon, apologizing and some people apologizing. I think the government of the day, it could have been anybody else, I'm not talking about Buhari in person, should lead the way at this point, should say, we want reconciliation. Yes, it is good. I've heard Mr. Adesina talk about paying pensions that were not paid for several years. Those are actions, these are actions that the government is trying to take to communicate, but evidently that is not communicating enough. I believe that the government, the president, should be bold, should take that bold step and say, we are sorry. Should also take that bold step, because he, like recently he mentioned, he was an active participant in the Civil War. Okay, so he should take that bold step and actually speak it and go out to reconcile this country. Aside trying to construct one thing there to show that, okay, I love you, I don't love you, he should take that bold step to go forward, to organize something, to show that I want to reconcile people, instead of mentioning people and calling these ones certain names. Maybe he's referring to a small group of people within that ethnic group, but you see the interpretation that is being given to it. It is, whether you like it or not, when we make such comments, it provokes more anger within the polity. I believe the government should be more responsible in the statements that they make. The ministers, everybody should be able to speak as if they want to reconcile the country, even if people are attacking them, even if people are saying what they are saying today. But the role of the government should be to reunite, not by force, but by their actions as well, and by the words that comes out of their mouth.
Okay. Let me play the angel's advocate. Let me play the angel's advocate here. Itoro, I get your point. I understand what you're saying, all right? But I want you to understand, Itoro, that it is not easy to be the head of a family and you hear that your children are dying and you know the group that is behind this, you know the people behind this, and that policemen are being killed, soldiers are being murdered. And these are not single men. These are men with families, with wives, with children. These are people who have put years in service. And as a government sworn in to secure lives and property, the first thing on your mind is not apology. I mean, I just brought in the issue about reconciliation on a much wider level to engage our people. But the responsibility of government is to secure lives and property. And if I was a president of a nation and I hear a certain group, whether they want to go by a group or whether unknown government or whatever, are going around killing and murdering police officers. I mean, for goodness sake, my brother, I would use the harshest words on that group. I'm not kidding.
Sorry, before you go on, I want to remind you, I talked about 2015. I talked about this thing you are talking about is happening now. How did we get there? How do we get to a point where these murders of killing of soldiers and policemen did not start from 2015? It only started now. How did we get to this level? How did we boil up to this level? I mean, there was a fire that was ignited, and we allowed that fire to kindle to get to the point where we are today, where they are killing people, the way they are killing, where kidnappers are rampaging everywhere. The point I'm trying to make is that when this government came into power, there was a flame, a little flame. They should have extinguished that flame from the day one. Now we have gotten to a level where the fire is so much. And then is it by putting more fire that you would take out that fire? Or you should find a way to extinguish the one that is burning. That is what I'm saying. I'm not condoning the killing of policemen. I'm not condoning. I condemn it with all my energy, you know, and I believe the government should go out to get those people responsible. But I'm talking about what the actions the government should be taken parallelly to what is happening, what they are doing with the military.
Okay, Mr. Itoro, let me just say something here before I invite my friend in. Now, I think sometimes we forget our memories don't help us. Itoro, do you remember there was a time between 2012 and 2014 when bandits were not even kidnapping children? They were walking into secondary schools and spraying children dead in the middle of the night. And I'm not talking about one incident. I'm talking about several. They were not even kidnapping children and asking for ransoms. They were walking into universities, walking into secondary schools, and they would spray these children while they are sleeping in bed. This was during Jonathan's time. So when you tell me that there was a time when this flame was small, I'm sorry. Let us go back into history. Let us read the reports in newspapers. I have those reports with me. There was a time it was really, really bad.
Yeah.
Again,
Now,
Atta, I
hold
think
on,
you
hold
are
on,
missing the
Itoru.
point.
Hold on,
Let
hold
me
on,
come. I
Itoru.
think you are missing the point.
Hold on.
This
No,
is why
Itoru,
this
hold
government
on.
came into power in the first place. This
Exactly.
government came
Exactly.
to power to stop this thing.
No,
Exactly.
But
hold
instead
on.
of
Yeah,
stopping
okay,
it, they
hold
are
on.
increasing it.
Oh no, hold on, Itoru. Now, when I have meetings like this, okay, I try. I mean, the last meeting we had was actually better than this because we were preferring solutions. We're giving solutions. We were offering ideas. Okay, we are Nigerians are in a position. What we do now is we sit down and wait and blame and complain for government to do something. When I invited Femi here, okay, Mr. Femi Adesina, the whole idea is for us to profess solutions, not to ask him. And that's another question I want to ask Mr. Femi now before you come in, Mr. Chidi. Mr. Femi Adesina, I just wanted to ask you a question. So many people have asked these questions, and they've asked me to convey this to the government. So some people, in various ways. So, has the government thought about hiring what I call military contractors? Like some nations, when they are in difficulties, when they have insecurity an issue, they have military contractors. I remember that the last government invited military contractors to the Northeast. I also know that the American government, when they were in Iraq, also invited contractors. And obviously, we know what they call them, mercenaries.
Mercenaries.
Has the government thought about inviting military contractors to assist with the insecurity right now in Nigeria? Has there been any discussion like that? Or because I know the last administration did that, and it was quite successful in the Northeast. They were able to drive Boko Haram, and that was the period when the elections were delayed for, I think, about 5 or 6 weeks,
6 weeks.
And they did a lot of work. Those military contractors did a lot of work, and they were able to push Boko Haram. Actually, there was only one local government who were not able to push Boko Haram, but they cleared Boko Haram. Is this something that this government has thought about or considered?
Okay, thank you, Barrister. Let me start from where you left off. That the government then could not clear one local government. That is not quite correct. When this administration came in 2015, minimum of 17 local governments were under Boko Haram occupation. 17. 17. So that 6 weeks in which the other government wanted to clear things, yes, they made an effort. I remember I even did a piece commending that government then under the NSA, Sambo then. They
Yes.
tried. They tried within those 6 weeks, but it was too little, too late. And when this administration came, minimum of 17 governments were under Boko Haram occupation. Now, that is just a clarification I want to make. But in terms of mercenaries, President Buhari has been emphatic. No. And what were his reasons? He said the Nigerian army that went to Burma and fought, that went to Congo and fought, that went to Liberia, that went to Sierra Leone and did great things. How come that now they would need mercenaries to secure their own country? And he said, rather than pay money to mercenaries, he will equip that army, he will retrain them, he will increase their numbers, and that is what the president has done over the years. Let me tell you one thing. Chidi didn't want to hear this. Some Nigerians don't want to hear it. Things are looking up security-wise. Things are looking up. If you compare the security situation today to the last time we spoke, I told you things were very bad and they were bad.
Yes, you said so.
But as of today, that is not the same. It's not the same situation. If you see conquests that the Nigerian military is making in Northeast, in Northwest, in Southeast, everywhere there are challenges, they are clearing them. They are clearing them. So we can't say things are the same way they are that they were when we spoke last, maybe 5, 6 weeks ago.
Okay.
Things are quite looking up.
Sir, can I just say some, Chidi, just a minute. Sir, is there any way the military can give those people on social media, I mean, because it sounds as if there's information you have that other Nigerians do not have. Is it possible for them to give us this information so that we are able what's the word? We
appreciate
can see
what they have done.
Yes, we can see what they have done, because it looks as if there's information you have that is not coming into social media. Is it how okay, because this is why I love these meetings. How can you help us, sir, to do that, to breach that?
Thank you, Barrister. It's as if you know what I discussed with the Chief of Defense Staff, General Leo Irabo, at the last security meeting.
Yes.
I sat at that security meeting and I saw the statistics. I saw the positive developments. After the meeting, I called General Irabo. I said, why don't you consider a daily briefing?
Good.
Why don't you consider a daily briefing? When Nigeria Army suffers reversals, it's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Mhm.
But when you make these gains, people don't know.
No.
And then he told me he would look at, he said he would look at, he was field commander on Lafi Adole before. And when he was field commander, he used to address the press almost every day.
That's right. I remember NTA. Yeah, in 2016.
Yes, it would be televised live. So I told him, I said, what you did as field commander of Operation Lafi Adole, start it again now that you are CDS so that Nigerians can know what is happening. Barrister, if you know advances our military is making in Northwest, Zamfara, Biningari, in Kaduna, Katsina, and in all those places, and if you know what they are doing in Northeast, and then Southeast that we talked about, Southeast is quieter. It's almost quelled completely. They are making advances, but they are too quiet about it. I'm sure maybe they just want to get the job done. It's good to get the job done, but it's also good to let Nigerians know progress. Yes.
Yes, to let people know.
There's progress.
Good. So are you going to get in touch with him again and say that
yes. Every week he comes to the villa. So if I see him this new week, I'll remind him. General, between the last time I spoke to him and now, things are better. Because there is a new spokesman for the military who is doing very well. Very well. He lets out information. So I think they can just up the game a bit.
Thank you so much. Mr. Adesina.
Can I please talk to Mr. Adesina? Just to point out something that he said. When I talked about this government taking the initiative to the Nigerians, this is what I was talking about. When you say Mr. Chidi and some Nigerians or other Nigerians don't want to hear, this is what we want to hear. We want to hear what is going on. We are not enemies. Buhari is our president, whether we voted for him or not. He has become our president. Now, if I did not vote for Buhari because I believe he was going to fail, and then it turns out that he succeeds, it will be a pleasant surprise to me. So it is not that we are on the other side, we are fighting, people are fighting him. No, it is that when you do something, when you perform, talk to Nigerians in a language that is peaceful, in a language that is conciliatory, in a language that we know that, okay, you care for us, not that, okay, you want to do that to put pepper in our eyes to show that, okay, I'm succeeding.
Okay,
no, we are not fighting.
Okay, please, there's Ime Umo who has been waiting to ask his question. Chidi, can you do yours in just a minute, please? Because I want Ime to speak, please.
I will yield to a man who hasn't spoken.
Okay.
And I will talk
Thank
after
you. You're so patriotic. Thank you, my brother. Ime, are you there? Ime, can you unmute your mic, please?
Want me to put the AC?
Ime, are you there? Ime, can you unmute your mic, please? All right.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I can hear him. Ime, are you there?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Please, Ime, can you engage with the essay, please? Thank you.
Okay. First of all, I want to thank the SA for showing up and
Thank you.
interacting with us. Okay. I'm a young Nigerian. I'm an actor. Okay. And I'm also a social commentator. All right. And first of all, Dr. Chidi, hello?
Yes, I'm here.
Dr. Chidi made mention of the fact, okay, also the essay said that he is actually serving the president. He doesn't really owe Nigerians any form of allegiance, any form of explanations as to his actions or his inactions. It's fine. Okay. Dr. Chidi was a little, to some extent, opposing that notion. But to my, I think, are you there?
Please, we can hear you.
You can hear you. Go on.
Hello? Hello?
Yes, go on. Go on, we can hear you.
Hello?
We can hear you. Go on.
Are you
go
there?
On. Go on.
Okay.
You may go on, please. We can hear you.
Okay. Okay. Now, in all honesty, all right. In all honesty, the special advisor to the president does not really owe us directly any explanations to anything. He doesn't really owe us. He's saying that he doesn't owe us any explanations to his actions or his inactions, that his loyalty an action that is legally correct but morally wrong.
You shut the door, please.
20 minutes.
Yeah. It's an action that is legally correct.
Okay.
It's legally correct, but in my opinion, he's legally correct, but morally wrong. It's okay. Since I don't have much of time with war and the 3 R's of the Gowon administration at that time, which was reintegration, reconstruction, and reconciliation. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, it was reintegration, reconstruction, and reconciliation.
Yes.
Yeah, reintegration, reconstruction, and reconciliation. I think that out of the 3 R's, the reconstruction has been fairly good. But as far as reintegration and reconciliation is concerned, I have very strong elements of doubt about it, about the wholesomeness of reintegration and reconciliation, because I think, in my opinion, what really fuels secessionist thoughts in the head of especially the Ndibos is the fact that this Nigeria that is supposed to be our, a particular group of people and making it look like my. So the moment you make our, you turn it into mine. I mean, it pushes some people to a mental state where they are kind of fed up. So I believe that is what is wrong with, or that is what is fueling the secessionist thoughts, ambitions, and moves of the Ndibos.
Okay.
Well,
Ime, can I just quickly come in there? Just quickly, man. Can I just say that I just have we have 10 minutes left because Mr. Adesina needs to leave at exactly 5 o'clock. Okay. I want you, because I discussed this with him earlier before you came. Okay. He was very interested when he heard that Nollywood, artists like you, want to engage with government, want to come up with messages for government. He was so interested in that, and he wants to hear that, and hopefully he can sit down and advise us and you how you can actually come on board and how you can be a part and parcel of what is going on. So is it possible for you to just move your talk to that direction so that we can get something out of it today, please, if you don't mind?
Okay. All right. A lot has been going on in the country, and yes. The generality of the youths of the country, aren't really happy. And then Nollywood is mostly youth-based. Okay. No, so I believe that there are many people, especially many famous people, who are actually not happy with what is going on. They will want to proffer a solution to the problems of this country. And I also think that Nollywood, I think famous Nigerians, socially influential Nigerians who are within the age of the youth, are very much interested.
Definitely. Yeah, go on. I think there's something wrong with your line.
Yes.
The connection.
Something wrong with your line. So Mr. Femi Adesina, before he comes on board.
I'm good, thank you, sir.
Before our brother comes on board, how can your office engage people like Ime Bishop Nollywood? How can you engage them? Because they have such a huge fan base that I'm not sure that the government is using.
Yes, I agree with you that huge fan base should be tapped, it should be harnessed, it should be used for the good of the country. But my office is the media office of the president. There is a whole ministry and a minister in charge of that sector. That's the Minister of Information and Culture. Okay. It's he that will look into the possibility of working with that sector.
Okay.
The media office of the president is just there to let the country and Nigerians in diaspora know what the president is doing, expand on what he's doing, explain it to people, and if necessary, defend his actions. That is just what the media office of the president is. But then, in terms of engagement with sectors, you have the various ministries who can do that. And I'm sure I've seen Alhaji Lai Mohammed engage with Nollywood a couple of times. If there are other things they can do, and I believe there's a lot more they can do together.
Okay.
I'll just say, let them engage further with them.
Okay. Ime, please, can I ask you a quick question, Ime? Are you, because part of the difficulty and challenge has always been that Nollywood artists are not ready to do things voluntarily. Can someone like you actually do something for the federal government without asking for money? Is it possible? Because that's always
we are not talking about it's not doing something for the federal government. I'm technically not really loyal to government. I'm loyal to this country. You see this country? This country is our country. Do you understand? It's not about anybody's administration. I'm not really a fan of Buhari. I'm not a fan at all. Do you understand? But the fact is, he is my president. I owe him loyalty.
Good.
That is the truth. I owe him loyalty. I wish I didn't owe him that loyalty because I don't like him. Do you understand? But yeah,
I love this guy.
Whether you like it or not is your
that is the
president, but you
truth.
must like
That's
it.
the truth. Whether I like it or not. You
Calm
understand?
down.
I
Calm down.
wish come on, it is what it is. He's my president, and until he is no longer my president, I still have to treat him as Mr. President. That's the truth. I still have to treat him like Mr. President. And what I say is that, look, yeah, of course, I do. I do. This is my country, okay? I will do everything I can, you know, as far as loyalty is to my country, I will always take the lead. If I can, you know, I will always take the lead without a doubt, without a shadow of a doubt.
Okay. All right.
Barrister, let me just to buttress what he has just said. Let me tell you a short story. Adekunle Benjamin, the Black Scorpion. In my active days as a journalist, I met him one day and I interviewed him. He was adjutant to General Ironsi at the time of the first coup. So after they had rounded up most of those Kaduna Nzebu and the rest who took part in that coup, he said, Ironsi asked him, Adekunle, why really were you not part of that coup? And Adekunle said, he answered him, sir, if I was part of that coup, you will not be seated where you are now because I don't like you. that was just a captain talking to a
wow. My goodness, that was honest.
So, brother, has not done anything wrong.
Sir.
Okay, man. I have 5 minutes left.
Is it?
Yeah,
man, I think you're overstretching.
Okay, you have your turn. I'm still waiting to say something.
Man, I have just 5 minutes left. So here's what we can do. Mr. Adesina, is it possible for you to just make a referral to the office of
the minister? I'll gladly
do the minister.
I will gladly do
please. Because I can say something quickly before I bring in my friend Chidi. Ime is somebody who puts out skits on his Instagram page for government. He does it on his own. It brings out messages and all that. And I think this is a man that government can actually leverage on. I mean, he has a huge fan base in Nigeria, and I would love to see him being engaged by the federal government. I really would love to see it. So thank you so much. Ime, please, I just have 5 minutes left. Please, you don't mind. Well, we're still going to talk.
It's okay. It's fine.
I've seen Regina. We have not heard from her.
Yes.
Thank you so much, because he's my brother. He keeps putting me in the background.
Put in the background, Regina. Just a minute. Before you came, Chidi just wanted to ask a question. I have 5 minutes, so I just want to manage it. Chidi, are you ready to give the lady just let her say what she wants to say, then you say what you want to say, and then Adesina will just answer, and then we'll round up. Is that okay, Mr. Chidi?
Go ahead, Regina, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chidi. Thank you so much, Doctor. So reconstruction, reintegration, and reconciliation. As far as reconstruction goes, are we including all Nigerians? When you consider the rate of development in Southeast, a lot of people have been complaining that there's no development in the Southeast, and as such, those people don't feel included. If we are headed for one Nigeria, if we're all to be patriotic, we should all demand for reconstruction to reach the Southeast of Nigeria so that everybody feels included. Now, let us talk about reintegration. Reintegration. How many of us Southeasterners or Southerners can really say that we are part of this government in terms of considerations for appointment? Atta has a whole long list of Igbo people who have held special appointments. But what about, has this filtered to the grassroots? Are we feeling it in the community? can the Igbo people or the South people really say that they feel a part of the Nigerian government or the Nigerian polity? If we consider those things or make efforts to take care of those things, people will go a long way to feel included. Reconciliation, sir, we have to have a truth commission, sir. We have to come together and put everything on the table where people will be able to bear their minds. My people and Chidi's people are fighting. We don't want to be Biafra, but we want considerations too, because whatever complaints they are making, we also are making that complaint because we feel left out also. So Atta was saying that it's not only the Igbo people that have been marginalized, or it's not only the Igbo people that are not feeling the lagis from the Nigerian government. That is true. We too are not feeling that lagis, and we would like to have a truth commission where everybody can really table their complaints and not just get you for 20 minutes and everybody struggling to talk to you, and then you tell us you don't owe us any explanation. You do owe us an explanation. We are Nigerians. We voted Buhari into office.
I owe you explanation. What I said was not that I didn't owe explanation. I owe explanation.
Okay.
So I'm not answerable.
Okay.
The public is
Thank you very much, sir. So I'm looking forward to that referendum with you and having an opportunity to table things on the table with you. So at this point, I thank my brother for letting me come in, and I'll hand over to Dr. Chidi.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
Chidi, you have the last leg, Chidi.
Sorry, Barrister. Let me answer what Regina said, and then we can take Dr. Chidi separately.
All right. Okay, sir.
Yes. She talked about reconstruction first. I wish she listened to an interview granted by the Labour Minister, Dr. Chris Ngige. It's a 1 hour interview with channels, and it's on YouTube.
I'll find it.
Find the interview and listen to it.
Okay.
Dr. Ngige went to great extent to mention projects all over Southeast. Actually, the Minister of Information last year had reeled out about 65 projects going on in the Southeast alone, 65, from roads to bridges to housing, everything. No other government has treated the Southeast like this before. And this is a government that didn't score 5%, 10% in Southeast states. The highest place that Buhari scored votes was in Abia because of the influence of Ojikadu, 10% or 20%. In Enugu, it's got 3%. In Anambra, about 5% and all that. But he did not use that to respond to the region. Minimum of 65 projects are going on in the Southeast, including the second Niger Bridge. So in terms of reconstruction, the Southeast is not left out, not at all. Then in terms of reintegration, you see, reintegration is not an external stimuli, it's an internal thing. If you feel a people need to be reintegrated into a polity and they refuse, what do you do? What do you do? If they willingly refuse, they say, we don't want, then what do you do? I remember many times that the Southeast will say, no, nobody. I remember when Buhari was running in 2011 and he needed a running mate. Adesina came out to say, no, Igbo man, what's wrong with him? So, when the people don't want to be reintegrated, what can you do?
That's it.
Yes.
You can't blame anybody.
I remember some key Igbo people who said in 2015, that Igbo must be wise, that the shortest route to the presidency for us is APC. They refused. They said it's a northern party, it's a Sharia party. They refused. They didn't vote for the party. And power must be negotiated in Nigeria. It must be negotiated. You can't get power in Nigeria unless you play the game. You can't, election after election, go in the same direction. And then at a certain time, you now say, it's our turn. Who says? Who says? You play the game. All right. So if there is self-exclusion, there's nothing anybody can do about it. And then, of course, we have talked of reconstruction, reconciliation, and then reintegration. It's the same thing. You must be willing to be reintegrated. If you're not willing, there's nothing anybody can do.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that. Now we're on the last leg. We're running out. It's exactly 5 o'clock. But Chidi, ask your question, and so that Mr. Adesina can go on to can leave us, and we can still meet after this. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, just like Regina said, this kind of interactions, they are not enough for us to discuss what we need to discuss, but then we must do what we must do. Let me start from reconstruction. You know, we can stay here and be, you know, exercise our rhetorical abilities, but the taste of the pudding is in the eating. You cannot tell me, an Igbo man who grew up in the it's not by you even making videos. It is almost an insult to an Igbo man for you to say that reconstruction since after the war has been served on the Igbo man. No, I am telling you about somebody who went to University of Nigeria, and as at 20,000 something, we were still using prefabricated classrooms. I never understood the kind of position we were. You went to UNN. You know what I'm talking about, those prefab buildings.
University of Calabar.
Oh, sorry, University of Calabar.
I'm a Malabite.
You went to Enugu, you're a Malabite.
Yeah, Enugu,
but
yes.
There's UNN and the rest. That's why I didn't remember your own. Anyways.
UNN and the rest, seriously. I'm a Malabite. It's University of Calabar and the rest.
Oh my God.
Okay, sorry. Okay, sorry. That one is in Nigeria too. I didn't know. Okay, so quickly, I know I have a very short time. It was only when I went to University of Ife, University of Benin, University of Lagos, that I came back. I came back to UNN and I shed tears. So let us not talk about reconstruction. Atta, I really love the way you spoke about the policeman who lost, who has a family, the officers who are killed, and the people they lose. You know me, I'll never subscribe to violence. It is not in me. I do not want it. Whoever is feeling it, it is when something has failed, that it's an unfortunate situation. Nobody likes it. I don't subscribe to it. But I wish that by the time you get to that point, you also took time to speak about the families of those who were hacked down, to speak of those who are also feeling pains at the look. To summarize this whole thing, I don't want us to begin to break it down and apportion blames, because you'll just be going around in circles.
Yes.
It has happened. Something, the position, and let me speak now about Biafra and the agitation for Biafra and IPOB.
Mr. Adesina has to leave, please.
I know he has to leave. I sacrificed my time. Just give me 2 more minutes.
He has to reclaim his time.
See, I can tell you this. Maybe this is the first time you will hear this. The average Igbo man, including Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and I tell you this, take it to the bank, will not, even as we are today, will not engage in the struggle for Biafra or any other thing you call it. If even today, the president of Nigeria will sincerely, with whoever is in control of the powers that be, sincerely engage the people of the Southeast and the Igbo man with a plan that genuinely makes us see that we are included, all of this will not happen. Let me tell you something. The government, you're asking us for advice for free. This government came saying that they knew what to do. We can offer that. If I was the president of Nigeria, I know what to do today. And IPOB will stop agitating for Biafra. But unfortunately, they are not willing to do it. I'm telling you, the problem is that there is a deliberate, and it is another discussion for another day. So please, in conclusion,
Thank you.
It's
Thank
concluding.
you.
It's
I'm
concluding.
concluding. In
Yes.
conclusion, Mr. Femi Adesina, I think you should take back to your boss that he should stop speaking or threatening to speak to the people of Biafra in a language that they will understand, because that is not going to help him anyway, to not help
Right,
to solve
okay.
the
Oh,
problem.
Okay.
And the
agree.
worst thing you can do is to underestimate anybody, no matter how tiny they are, or underestimate an ideology. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. Mr. Adesina, your floor now and then.
Thank you. Yes, Dr. Chidi just he made comments, not a specific question, but what I would just like to say is that since that time, when the president said he will speak, not he as a person, but that the government will speak to certain interest groups in the language they understand, there's a calming in the country. There's a calming in the country. A government is a government. The government has muzzle, and it must use that muzzle. There's that calming in the country. So I would say it was a good thing the president made that statement, because we have seen the positive effect of it.
I
But we
Thank you.
disagree, though.
And
Okay,
But
Chidi,
thank God
right.
it's
No,
worked,
it's
even
not.
though
It's
we
not
disagree.
right, Mr.
Chidi,
For me to
Chidi,
say no.
Chidi, we're going to
You
continue
are
this.
always talking about apology. How can you look me straight in the face
Some
and
other
tell
time we will
me
continue.
that it was a good thing the
I
president
don't know.
said that the way he
Hello.
killed my brothers and sisters and my uncle, he will
Please.
kill me again, and you want me to accept
No,
it?
no,
I
Chidi.
won't
We
accept it.
disagree, but it
That's
Okay,
an
worked.
okay.
insult.
All right,
No.
Mr.
How can
Adesina.
you come here and say it was
It's
good?
okay,
He
it's
said
okay.
it. No.
There's a calming in
It's
the
okay,
country.
it's okay.
Yeah,
Mr. Adesina, thank you once again. I wish we could have had you 3 hours, and I wish we didn't have the issues we had initially. Thank you very much. Let me just specially, Mr. Adesina, let me just commend you for your humility.
Thank
It's
you.
not easy
Thank
to
Yes.
sit with someone like my friend Chidi. when he has-
That's what he
When I
signed up
saw
for.
the-
That's
and
what
come-
he signed up
the
for.
vest he was
So
wearing, I should just have walked out.
I come under this fire. But you've always been very gracious, and each time I invite you, you always make yourself available. And I know you have to go to the villa to see your boss, but thank you so
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank
Please.
you.
Do not forget to make that referral for Ime Omo.
I'll be glad. I'll be glad. And
Please.
if you can, please be in touch with me. We will take it further.
Thank you so much. And I'll send you a small proposal about the reconciliation we'll be talking about, and so that both of us can just talk about it and see
And
what
Chidi and I will send a proposal for reconstruction, things to
That's
do
right.
in terms of reconstruction.
they will
Yes.
not listen.
Reconstruction
Don't worry.
and reconciliation.
Adesina will say it's not
Both
in
of
charge.
them.
Okay.
Adesina will say it's not his department. Don't
I'll
worry.
have to let him go. I'll have to.
He will say it's not him.
Very busy man. Mr. Adesina, thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank
Have a
you for
wonderful
coming,
week.
sir.
And I
Thank
hope
you.
we can do this again in July or August. Thank you
By
so
the
much.
grace of
God
God.
bless you.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Have a wonderful day.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, now the rest of us that are here Chidi, thank you so much. You missed something yesterday, Regina. Something wonderful happened. I know, Chidi, you have to just calm down, okay? You
How are you going to tell him to calm down? How are you going to tell him to calm
He's
down?
calming down for you. Honestly,
Is he hyping
of
us?
course you're
Why
my
should he calm
brother.
down?
See, if you don't want this to happen, don't bring me to this kind of meeting. I told you. I am trying.
Bros Chidi. Bros Chidi.
I didn't hear you, Ime. Now I feel privileged to be here, and I wish I was
Privilege
in
is
your
the name
face.
of a village.
Look, you are a star as far as I'm concerned. You are the one that I'm feeling privileged to be with him on the
Leave that
with the people.
Leave that.
Don't mind with the people. Can you imagine? Now we get the government. Now we employ them. They come here, they tell us nah.
Okay.
Now we get
No,
the government.
see. Oga Chidi. See, most of the things what we they do, are you listening to me?
I'm listening to you.
Okay. Is it like this Buhari must go where he were now? Okay. This Buhari must go where he were now for body. you know, you're elitist somehow. You're deeper, you're more intelligible than most of your followers where they down Nigeria, you know, especially with the village.
I don't accept that too.
No, I dey tell you now, you're an elite now.
Okay.
No, me
Let us-
elite.
No,
I'm
nah.
the biggest
Eh.
adult that you know.
All right, guys. Let's.
No.
I just want us to just move forward so that we can just get something going together. So I can actually package something for Mr. Adesina and say, this one we discussed after this. Now, we talked about a reconciliation panel. Something happened yesterday. Those of you that were not at the meeting with Mr. Chidi, I laid on the table the issues the Bibios and Anangs had with the Igbos during the Biafran War, and the fact that Igbo soldiers had murdered, assassinated, and killed a number of Ibibios and Anangs and raped our daughters. Now, when I gave out that information a few weeks ago, it was like I'd thrown a grenade in the room, because so many people, many Igbos did not even know that this had happened. And they were asking me for facts. I brought some of those facts, which were villages that had suffered these atrocities. Yesterday, something incredible happened. And I commend the Igbos, because I must say that the Igbo race are an honorable people. No matter what some tribes think about them, they're a very proud race. And they're a race of noble people and a race of honorable people because of what they did yesterday. They actually came out. Some of them actually came out and apologized to me. I was representing the Bibio tribe. And obviously, I know that I'm just one person. And I know that, like I said to Chidi, I said, this is a journey that will have to continue, okay? They apologized to me for what their soldiers did to us during the Biafran War. They said they were sorry. Now, I want to see how we can continue this journey within the Southeast and the South-South, and how we can bring this to Nigeria, which was what I was discussing with Mr. Femi Adesina this afternoon. Chidi asked me and said, okay, we have, some of us have apologized to you today, but how will the Igbo nation apologize to the Bibio nation? That was a question they asked me yesterday.
Valid question, yeah.
Yes, if we want this to be formal, how do you want my nation to apologize to your nation? And how can we have a discussion around this? Because I mentioned that maybe there were things the Bibios did to the Igbos. So the Igbos will have to come and say, okay, these are the things you did to us that made us act this way. And that is the continuing discussion. So I said to him, I said, currently, there are soldiers, Biafran Igbo soldiers that participated in the war. And some of them were in the South-South, the Calabar, Abak, Ikot, Okmene, Eket region. And even if they were not on ground, they must have heard of the atrocities that went on. Those people can represent their colleagues and actually apologize on behalf of the Biafran army. And we can make this formal. And we can talk to our elders about it. And we can come together as a nation. And I tell you something. Do you know that, Chidi, when I heard those apologies, and even there was an Igbo boy that came to my wall. Are you there, Chidi?
I'm listening.
There's an Igbo boy that came to my wall and apologized again and said, I'm sorry for what we did to your tribe. Do you know there was a release in me? I felt this release. I was like, wow, now I can fight for the Igbos. Now, I may not agree with the Biafran map, but I can fight for the Igbos. I can stand in for the Igbos. I can defend the Igbos. I can promote what the Igbos want. I can be a part of that fight now. And all because your people have begun to say, I am sorry. But here's my point. How can we make this a much larger reconciliation so that it's not just about Igbos and Ibibios, it's the whole of Nigeria? This is the proposal I want to submit to Mr. Adesina, and hopefully we can take this to the assembly. I wish Onofiok Luke was here, because I had invited him, and we can see how we can push this to the NA. Thank you. The floor for whosoever wants to speak. Thank you.
Can I say something?
Yes,
Can I say something? Okay, yes. So it's a good thing, a good beginning of tabling and discussing uncomfortable truths and uncomfortable issues. But we should not only let it end in lip service. We should say, these are the concrete steps we are going to take to ensure that, first of all, there's forgiveness, and then there is interaction and a cohesiveness for a united front. That a united front should be the end game for this journey. Okay, so I am happy that we have started on that reconciliatory note. But me, one person apologizing to you on Facebook, or two people apologizing to you on Facebook, it's a good thing. But like you said, we should find a wider arena. Okay, so how are we going to table this story to the gatekeepers of the Igbo nation? How are we going to table this story to the gatekeepers of the Ibibio and the Anang nations? Not just that, the Ijaw people, the South people, before we even start talking about tabling Nigeria. It before Nigeria. Yeah. You know something? The Igbo people are all over Nigeria. And wherever they are, there's development. But there is that complaint about domination and subjugation, So is it out of jealousy? Is it out of a genuine situation, or I don't know how to really present that, but that's
a complaint. Yes, I agree with you. Yeah.
Yes. Even Amadou Bello on one interview talked about the perception he had of the Igbo person, So how are we going to mellow or cancel that perception that people have of the Igbos, because...
Okay, sorry.
Yes, go ahead, please. Okay. When you go ahead, please talk to us about how to make it, or if you have any ideas about how to make this a larger or more inclusive journey for these nations and the South nations.
Yes. Okay, Ata, can I say something?
Sure, please.
Okay.
Yes.
You see, you would actually have to go back to that video. Regina, that's what you need to do. You need to go back to that video, that interview that we had yesterday. Some of these questions will be answered. You will see clearly where it was answered. But let me tell you this. The Igbos, they are just who they are. And everybody is unique in their own way. The problem that sometimes people have, the grass always looks greener in the other man's compound. People tend to just look at the other person and you don't look inwards. Somebody was trying, I think it was Ata that was, but we didn't conclude that discussion. You were saying that, look, the North knows that if they are ever cut off with the South, it will not be well with them. And we'll have that discussion another day. We are looking for solutions. So I'm going to try to organize my thoughts so it leads to solutions. Good. I am thinking that what you talked about reconciliation is a good thing. How the other party in the bigger Nigeria will take it and be willing to run with it is what I cannot guarantee right now. But let me advise you, and I talked about this a little bit yesterday, that in your pursuit of an apology, let me give you a little analogy. You are about to go to the house of a man who is in mourning. It is an active situation. There's a burial going on. You know how when there's a burial, everybody's wearing black. They are all there. The man is, they have 15 children. He lost 12. And there's burial going on all over the place. People are crying. But meanwhile, one of his children killed one of your child. And you have chosen to go to the man and complain. And as you're approaching that house, you see the situation there. I need you to look at the whole situation. And when you are, remember, you've lost someone, you have a legitimate problem that you came to the man to talk to him about your child that was killed. But this is a man in the middle of burying his children and in mourning. Having that behind your back will help you to know how to present this your issue. You can choose to run into the man's compound. People say, where are you going? I want to see Oga. And then you go and stand in front of Oga and say, oh, everybody, wait. People are crying. I came here for something. Oga, your son killed my son, and that's why I came here. And I want you to apologize to me right now. You can choose to do that. You can also choose to come where everybody is crying. And you say, hey, yeah, my people, now well done. No. Well, greet everybody. They greet you. You sit down. Say, wow, there too. Hey, sorry. You do all those things that we do as Africans. You come to the man. You say, Oga, they pity you. It's not easy. 12 children. It's well. It's God. God brought and God took. I will go now. See, we brought a drink, because of what happened. You may not even bring drink. But after saying all those preambles, I'll say, there's something that I came with to talk to you about. But this may not be the right situation. However, I'll just give you a little bit of it, and then I'm hoping that later, when all this is over, we can talk about it. It's about your son. There's one issue, but it's something, you just open it a little bit, but tell him, my pastor taught me sandwich approach. You know what I'm talking about, where you start like this, you insert what you came to do, you cover it with the other bread. So you say what you want to do, but that is the diplomacy with which this thing will work. Otherwise, it may end up being what Regina talked about. You can have 100 people come on Facebook because of the way you may present it. I told you, the Igbo man is a businessman. If saying apology to 100 people will make him make more business, he will tell you that apology, in fact, he will go and prepare a book of apology and give you, and after you say, okay, yeah, you still need make I bring the goods out. You don't want it to be that. So I'm hoping that in asking for this apology, that we don't throw away those things that also happen to the Igbo man, and you don't leave. You should leave room for all of those other things that the Igbo man is also talking about, because every time we talk about it, you seem to believe that no way, my people, no, it was us. The North did it to us, the Igbo did it to us, it's only us. You might be surprised, you hear some other thing. That's the only thing I want to say about that.
Fantastic.
In doing it, we need to be, and then finally, Regina, one thing you talked about the complaints that people have about the Igbo man.
Yes.
If the Igbo man was actually how they say he is, about dominating and all of that, an issue came out that yesterday. How come you didn't see it in our history? You didn't see us engaging in conquest and fighting and going into a place and annexing a land and taking over a people. No.
That's not the style. That's not the style.
No.
That's not the complaining style. Look at South Africa. They are accusing the Igbos of like a
so let me explain. Your question was, let me help you explain how it happens. How it happens is, my uncle in Lagos, I go to holiday in his house. I told Ata this thing. And then he excitedly takes me out. He said, Chidi, come, let me go and show you something. We get to a place. He stands about 10 to 15 meters from where we are. And he's pointing at something. And he says, you see that tree? From that place to that place, that's the land. I said, which land? He said, the land I bought. I said, Uncle, where is the land? He was pointing at a swamp that we couldn't even get close to. I said, all I see is water. He said, in a few years, by the time these people build their own, and we will get close and we'll build our own. When they sold that place to him, they were laughing at him. It was like a crazy man. Today, as I speak to you, more than 100 meters after his house is an estate. So the Igbo man is the foolish man who will come to your area and buy the swamp, and buy the evil forest, and buy that piece of rock, and go to the desert and take it and develop it. He paid for it. By the time he develops it, you turn around. The person who was not there, do you know that the people, the area boys who were not there when that place was a swamp, who were not born when my uncle bought that swamp, they will come back and all they will see is Igbo people in that whole area. And they will get angry with him, naturally. Igbos have a proverb, they have a name. You must have heard people answer Akubilo. That means wealth attracts jealousy. That's just what it is. While my friend from another area will close work around 11, bring out a mat under the tree, mix fura de nunu or pito or whatever, and drink and lie down like this and relax from around 11 o'clock till for the rest of the day. The other person, or while my friend will come to my area and choose to go to the forest and build just a small thatch hut with his family, and they all stay there for years and months. Me, I will go to his own place, pay for the land, buy the land, build a concrete structure that I know I cannot take with me when I'm leaving.
Okay, Dr. Chidi, thank you so much, because the whole issue about Igbo domination has been even an issue among, in Uyo, for example, 90% of the shops in Uyo owned by Igbos. The land between Uyo and the airport is being bought over by Igbos. So it's something I'm going to discuss with you, but I have two other people here. There's Itoro Samuel Enang, and maybe Dr. Akebong Iniakpanikom. I want to say something, but Itoro Samuel Enang, you want to ask a question or you wanted to say something? Please, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you, Atta. I wanted to add to the question you asked earlier. How do we go about this reconciliation? And saying that you are going to table it before Adesina. I think if we want to talk about genuine reconciliation, we should kind of separate it from politics. We have these cultural organizations, or each state or each ethnic group have their, should I say, those who are leaders in each of the tribes or each of the ethnic groups or states, if you want. And these are the people, I think, that can talk to themselves. Mm-hmm. And they can do that without the involvement of the government of the day. Because when you involve the government today, you're talking about APC, and people in PDP would not want to be associated with that thing, with that move. And I want to be very, very sincere with you, Atta, because I'm not. When we are, taking on this kind of initiative or responsibility, you must be non-partisan. You must be neutral. You must be neither here nor there, but someone who wants to genuinely reconcile people because you have seen the need to do it. And I know you have seen it. But if we, let me not say you, if we, everybody, someone is seen to be pandering to one political party or the other, then that mission has failed from the beginning. I think you should disassociate it with government. You should start the movement or the initiative outside government, even though it is for the good. It is for the good of the country, and the government of the day is going to benefit from this initiative. Maybe they should be informed, but they should not be the primary motivator. Like I said to Mr. Adesina, they have one key role. I like what Dr. Chidi said. The government knows what to do, but they won't do it because they don't want to reach out to the other people. Because these people are on the other side. They are the opposition. So they don't want to be seen to be associating with the opposition. But if we want genuine reconciliation, whether we like it or not, the government of the day must reach out to these other people. But if we want to do this thing, then take it out of politics. Dialogue with the people, the people from Ohanes and Jibo, dialogue with maybe Mbo Mpayawa IBBO and others like that. Start this initiative from them, and then one day maybe there will be maybe a gathering from little summits, little meetings, and they will get to a place where the two tribes or the three tribes or whichever, how many people we are able to, how many tribes we are able to get together, will come together and make a solemn declaration where people will see genuine reconciliation and each side apologizing to the other. And then maybe the other part of Nigeria will see this and also want to do it as well.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Itorenang. Let me state my position here. Now, the whole issue about Igbos apologizing was not political at all. I was doing that on behalf of my tribe, the Ibibios, and by extension, the Anans. And the Ibibios are in APC, they're in PDP, they're in so many parties. So this had nothing to do at all with politics. And if you had been at the meeting yesterday and you've been part of this conversation for a while, you'd know there's absolutely nothing about politics. But I'm a realist. I know that there's nothing in Nigeria you can push or would have that semblance of authority or policy if government is not involved at some level. I'm telling you, it wouldn't have the oomph and the power behind it. That was why I broached the idea with Mr. Adesina, and he was kind of open to it. And he wants some kind of proposal, and he gave me an idea. He said, well, why don't you push this through the National Assembly? These are the people that would actually take this up, okay? But I still want to go through the executive and see how the executive can give it some kind of leverage behind it so that the National Assembly can take it seriously, because they won't listen to someone like me. But if Femi Adesina were able to probably hand it to a minister or to even his boss, and it's discussed, I think we can have a headway around this. Please, Mr. Enan, there is nothing political about this. And I tell you something, the only reason why I brought up this issue of reconciliation was when the Biafrans decided to put Afarafiong, my village, in their map. And I said to my Igbo friends, I said, please, I feel very hurt that you can put Afarafiong in your map when you have not apologized to us what you did to us during the war. We have no problem with the Igbos. Igbos have 95% of the shops, and you know that, in Uyo belong to the Igbos. Most of the land right now between Uyo and the new airport belong to the Igbos. We have no issue with the Igbos, but I felt that it was unreasonable, and it was a denial of history, that we are still hurting, we are still feeling bruised. There are families that are suffering from PTSD in the Bibio land, and you have the audacity to put our state and our tribe in your map when you have not addressed the things you did to us during the Civil War. That was how this whole reconciliation conversation with my sister Regina came about. And then we thought about it, and I broached it to my brother Chidi, and Chidi said to me, okay, let us organize a meeting about this. Let me invite my Igbo family and let's talk about it. And I went on his program yesterday and I opened my heart to them, short of crying before them. And when they saw my hurt, when they saw my pain, when they saw that, I wasn't just here for, for Buhari or APC or PD. I was actually here representing, oh dear. I was actually here
No, we can hear you.
Representing a tribe. Sorry. Yes. When they actually saw that I was actually here representing a tribe. Sorry. They apologized. They started apologizing. Some of them obviously found it a bit unreasonable. They were like, why should we apologize? We've done nothing to you. I mean, we, like my brother said, we're the ones that we have 12 children that have died. You just one child and you want to disrupt. So there were some of them like that. But let me tell you something. They apologized. And how do we move this conversation? How do we make it wider? I tell you something, Itoro, there is no way people will take this thing seriously except the executive without money. We don't even need their money, nothing. We just need them to say, this is a good idea, and we're going to stand behind it. In fact, we're going to help you hire the halls. We can pay for the halls. People will take it seriously because it's from government. And that's what I'm talking about, okay? Let me just say
Atta, I get the point. Sorry, I get the point you're trying to make. I agree with you. That's the point I was trying to make. Now, you were able to get the Igbo brothers to sit with you and talk, and you presented your position passionately, and they were able to apologize. So now there was no government involvement there. Now you could listen to Femi Adesina just now when they talked about reconciliation, and he said, "How do you force someone?" I don't agree with that statement. You force someone who doesn't want to belong, because you want someone to be vice president. All these years, we're talking about reconciliation, and these people have not been found trustworthy to be given the presidency. They are always given the vice president. And if you say they want the president, and you say, okay, no, the North must bring you to be vice president each time. And they say, no, we don't want this one. So how is that? I mean, how do you equate that with people not wanting to be included?
Okay.
I don't believe that. So
okay.
What I'm trying to say is that the government, at this point, this discussion, this reconciliation move should follow the same pattern that you are using. The government will come in eventually, but talk to yourself. Like today, we're able to sit with Dr. Chidi and discuss like brothers. We can enlarge it between the two tribes, the many tribes that are involved, the Anangs, the Bibios, the Orons, the Eked, and the Igbos, and I know that they have also tribes amongst them. We can discuss that within us. Then bring in the government. The government will not come and moderate or sponsor or organize this reconciliation between the Bibios and the Igbos.
Okay,
that's what I'm trying.
Okay. Mr. Nang, let me just say this quickly before I bring in my brother Chidi. Now, listen, I've worked with politicians. I don't call myself a politician, but I've worked with Nigerian politicians for the last 7-8 years. And I'm telling you, you cannot go to Atia Nang, you cannot go to Mbono Mparawai Bibio. You cannot go to what's the name of the Igbo cultural group?
Ohaneze.
Yeah, Ohaneze. You can't go to them and say, come, let's. They will not listen to you. But if you say, I've had a discussion with Gambari or with Adesina, and this is a note from the president saying that this is something they would love to fund or to come behind. People will immediately, the fact that you have that authority, because now they know that everything you are doing is going to go up to them. People will take it seriously. It's not that we cannot go to Mbonong Parawa Ibibio or Atiana or it will be my song Ibibio. We can do that. But they're going to ask you, who sent you? Who is behind this? Who gave you the authority? I know how it is in Nigeria. So I don't want us to go through that route. If we can avoid it, no time wasting. There's no time There's no need to waste time when I know that the only way this idea can be sold hook, line, and sinker is to have the executive behind it. Okay. Now, Mr. Chidi, you've often used the analogy of a man who has 12 children that died and one who has just had one child that his son killed, and that we should be very careful how we broach this issue with the man who's had his 12 children that died. Fine, good analogy. But let me tell you something, my brother. The context in which you are using that analogy is a bit wrong. And let me tell you why. This is not just about, I mean, you killed the eldest son of this guy who's lost 12 children, all right? The man has never complained that his one child died. Never. His complaint only came when you now wanted to extend your land into his farmland. The same farmland which killed his first son. He's had no problem with you. He has not mentioned to you that his son died. It was now when he saw your survey plan, and that survey plan now included his farmland, that that son that was murdered 10 years ago, he now came to say, "Oh God, hold on a minute. Oh. I know you have suffered in this village, and I know your people have suffered, but please, 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 don't include my farm in this your business. Don't buy my land, because the son that I lost died on this farm and your people killed this my son. And you have not, I've never asked you, but you have not brought wine or hot drink and said, I'm sorry for what my people did to your son." The whole issue about this apology, my brother, only came about when I saw my village in the Biafran map. And when Regina Askelsoro saw Okanafon in the Biafran map, and we said, how can you do this to us? Include us back in a map that killed hundreds of our people. And we said, we're not going to accept it. That is the reason why this whole record. If not, I have no issue with, listen, my senior sister is married to an Igbo man, and he was a Biafran soldier. My same mother, same father, married to an Igbo man from Aba.
And there are many like that.
Yeah, so I have no issue with Igbos. Okay. It was only when you included us in your map that I said, Ogao, you are taking this thing too far.
Okay. So listen to what you just said now. And it was my brother, was it Itoro that spoke last, or was Dr. Obo? It was Dr. Obo. Huh? It was Itoro. Itoro.
Itoro, yes.
You see, listening to him, I'm beginning to see a lot of reason there. And it's in line with what I was trying to say. He's not saying, and I'm not saying that the government part of this whole thing is not good and will not eventually happen. But to put it as your first foot forward, like you're saying, may not really go down well with people, because like I said before, this government knows more than enough of what to do, but the people will not do. Do you know? You don't understand the implication of what you are even thinking or talking about. I'm not saying it's not going to happen. I've already wished you good luck and success, and wherever you need me, I'll be more than willing to assist. All we're saying is that it is all about presentation and the manner in which you have to employ skills here. Because even this man that you're telling about, including your land and all of that, it is in what led to him beginning to draw the map? Did he just get up and start?
My farm, in his farm, in his land?
No. There is an issue that is going on. This man is on a mission. And that mission, it is one thing that leads to another. Like, for instance, right now, the issue with the Igbo man and Biafra, it's all about inclusion. He's all about he's confronting the federal government who has kept quiet while Fulani headsmen have overrun the land. The people who are actually capturing everybody and taking their land. The Biafran man, the Igbo man is contending with these people. And in contending with them, all these are just fallouts from his main project. The project of Igbo man is trying to say, hey, and you know very well, it is on record that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, prior to this IPOB thing, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was on the streets of London with the Nigerian flag. Something that a lot of people don't even believe at that point in time. And that's the kind of thing I'm not willing to engage Mr. Adesina on that, even though he started contradicting himself. Because while he was trying to play the card of, oh, I'm just a servant serving, he was now schooling us that for you to do something, you have to play the game. And I'm like, oh my goodness, Adesina, why are you getting involved? Why? You say you have to play the game, you have to do so. That's the problem. That is what is bringing us. That's why this thing, going to talk to them on that level, may not work, because they are going to politicize everything. They've already told you how things work. So coming back to what we're saying, so that we're not all over the place, just know this thing, that what you're talking about, see, Igbo people, by their constitution, the way they are constituted, by the kind of people they are very, very, very democratic. And that's what some people don't understand. That's what makes them look like they're very stubborn people. If you tell the Igbo man to jump up, he'll ask you why. So, by virtue of the way they are structured, they are peace-loving. And Igbo people, nobody does meeting. Check wherever Igbo people are, they do meeting. Nobody does meeting like Igbo people. They always meet. They always meet to talk about issues, to settle case. They understand that. So, if we are willing, and coming back to what Itoro said, we need to, even before you begin to approach federal government, we need to begin to look inwards. And can I tell you something? They may not be doing it the way you expect it, but honestly speaking, if you know the amount of reaching out across the fence that people like IPOB and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have done and are still doing, albeit they are not doing it the way that that's why you're talking the way you're talking, and I appreciate it. When in fact, it was Regina that told me some of these things, even more than you. When Regina said it, I was like, I heard some things for the first time. And that's why I reacted the way I reacted. And some people are reacting the way they are reacting. So you will have to come from that angle. That's what I mean when I was talking about approaching the man, and it is the way you present it. You have to look at number one, and it's very important. What is the motive? Is it that the motive is like what Regina has said? Is it that the motive is that they just annexed you to dominate you, to take you over? Or is it that they are playing the big brother and saying, look, all of us are one. So if we are going to do this, we are all together. And they have been reaching out to a lot of people. And there's a lot of people who are agreeing to the Biafra move. That some people in Ibibio don't agree. It doesn't mean that there are nobody that agrees with the Biafra struggle. It doesn't mean that there are no Anan people who are members of IPOB. There are plenty of them. So I think we should continue the conversation, but let us not isolate it. Let us do this thing as a bigger conversation. What the Biafran people are fighting for is just like Regina rightly pointed out to Adesina. What they are suffering is what the rest of the Southeast is suffering. When they don't even know you as Anan, they know you as Nyamiri. So you'll be deceiving yourself if you think that if they carry a gun and come there, they'll say, no, separate Igbo. No. as far as they are concerned, a Bibio and Atianango, everybody, all of them are Nyamiri, and that is how the person who wants to be mean and wicked, that's how they see us. So let us discuss this thing with some level of understanding that the person you're talking with is not a mean person. He's not somebody who wants to annex you, dominate you, take over your land, become very, very, which Igbo people are not like that.
Is Ata still there?
I think Ata is still there. Yeah, he's muted. So that's my submission. And I will have to go.
A friend just died. I just heard a friend of mine just died just
oh
now.
my
So
God.
I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It was a member of your school. What's her name now? Lizzie Akpan. Elizabeth Akpan. Do you remember
No.
her?
No.
Her mother owned the Chinese restaurant in Calabar. She just died. Just died now. I'm so sorry. Sorry. Yeah, I'm so sorry.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
Sorry about that. I think we can end
okay.
and continue the discussion. We can have a meeting where we'll work out the modalities for what you're asking.
It's okay.
It's something good.
Can we, Chidi, how do we continue this conversation? How do we take this forward? I want us to keep talking. I want us to keep engaging, especially, Regina is here, Iturenang is over there. How do we engage? How do we keep talking? So I'm really unsettled at the moment. So
can I tell you something that can help? Let me tell you something that can help, Ata, because as you push these things forward, you want people to listen to you. You can stop by toning down your utterances and your posts about Igbo people. It's not helping issues at all. It's like Buhari continuing to say he will speak to people in a language. Your posts are not reconciliatory. They are inflaming. And so when people hear you talk like that and you come again and say, I bring the olive branch, it doesn't, so you can start from that.
Sorry, that's why I talked about being neutral, because I saw the post Atta did on the Dot Nation. Whether we like to spin it anyhow they like it, the president's statement was clearly referring to the Igbo.
So just trying to manage things.
Yes, please, can I say something to that effect? I don't think we should ask anybody to tone down anything. Okay. It is the reason that we're having this discussion. It is what brought us to this table. It is the agitations of MNK, Mazin Amdi Kanu, that is making a lot of us in the South and south of Nigeria stand up and say, okay, we have also noticed these things, and let us investigate these and see what is factual, and then agitate for what is better. So for Atta to, we should not try to hold Atta back. His flair, his angst, his passion.
No, you don't understand. Regina,
to investigate what is going on.
No, let me explain. I'm still here. Let me explain what Itoro. Give me 1 second. No, Regina, you're getting me wrong. I'm saying that Atta's focus is to bring about reconciliation, and Atta has presented his issue. But having presented your issue, I cannot be trying to reconcile with you, and then I'm going about again and saying things about you that doesn't have anything to do with the reconciliation. That's what I'm saying.
Reconciliation.
Yeah, it's some other things that will make me not. I don't want. Some people don't want to sit with you at all. You have to first of all bring me to the discussion table. But if you put a lot of barriers that will not even let me come close, that's where the problem is. What we're saying now.
All right, gentlemen. I'll have to bring the meeting to an end. I have to attend another meeting in the next 4 days and about this case.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
so much. Thank you so much, Chidi and Regina and Itorenang and Mrs. Dr. Akebong Inyakwaneko. Thank you so much. I'm sorry, I wish this could have ended.
It's okay. It's okay. We appreciate it. Let's just end it.
At the moment.
Thank you.
Chidi, I'm going to contact you later this evening or tomorrow, and Regina, and I think we should just have some kind of forum, maybe on WhatsApp, just the 3 or 4 of us, and where we can just keep talking, and because we just need to move this forward. I don't know how,
yes.
No problem. No problem.
but I think we need to move this forward. Thank you so much, gentlemen.
Thank you for having us.
Yes,
All right.
and next month we're going to have a session with Mr. Femi Adesina again, and hopefully by that time we'll have moved this conversation forward in a way that we would see some positive and sustainable results from the side of the executive. Thank you so much. I know how difficult it is for you, Chidi, and I really appreciate your patience. You, Regina, also. I mean, your people suffered. Itorenan, same thing. Dr. Nyakpaneko, I mean, you were there. I mean, your father was right there, a doctor during the Biafran War. So we've all suffered, and we need to come together. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. God bless you guys.
God bless
Thank
you.
you.
Bye-bye.
Chidi, I'll send you a message later this evening.
No problem.
Thank you.
Okay.
God bless.
Thank you.
Bye, Regina. Bye, Tora.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.